one of the comments on Art's previous conversation with Art was that we're wasting so much energy. What about that? Can we just, save and conserve energy and have alternatives and so on? In that way, at least buying time, and also, as you mentioned, moving on with solar as much as we can and other ways that are the future.
So there's a saying in the Bible that you don't use old wineskins to put new wine in it. And a wineskin, for whatever reason, I don't remember, I never studied this, but wineskins, after one use, they become, or maybe a couple uses, they become weakened, and you put new wine in an old wineskin and it bursts on you. So what we're doing here with the electric car, I mean, it's kind of a necessary part of the transition, but the automobile itself fit fairly well in a suburban lifestyle. Maybe it's useful in a rural lifestyle because instead of actually an automobile, you have a pickup truck and you're carrying things around. If you're a workman who needs to carry things around with you, of course, a truck is a handy thing to have. But if you're an urban person who needs to get to work in the morning, the last thing you want to do is get in a car because you're taking up so much space. And here's the thing. Let's go to transportation. I have a train, which is a linear train, not like our system, which is a mesh network that covers the whole city. We've got a train, and you live over here a couple miles. So what you do is you take a car, which weighs 2 tons and takes up a lot of space, and you bring it over here to the train station. And when you get to that train station, what you have to do is abandon this transportation unit and let it sit there for 10 hours. Now, it's not doing anything in transportation during that.
No, it's not. You're talking about like the classic problem. A car is sitting there idly in 90% of the time, and 95% of the time.
Yeah. So you're a poor person, okay? So you come in, and let's say you can afford the payments for a car that costs $5,000, an old used car, but you bought it on time. So you just have enough money to pay for that. What's the parking space at the train station look like for you? Well, I got news for you. That's a Rolls Royce. In order to make that parking space that you can't afford, they had to spend as much money as a Rolls Royce to put in your old beater car there. Now, guess what? The only way that works is with a subsidy. So it turns out that instead of finding a creative way to get from here to there, we continue to give life support to this dead albatross, dead, dinosaur, in order to maintain the status quo. We're talking about equity in transportation. Well, equity in transportation is get rid of the car and make whatever else you put in place attractive to all the people, not just a desperate accommodation to poor people where they have to stand for 20 minutes in the rain and snow or heat for a bus to come by. In other words, the wealthy will never do that. So what if we bring that station over here close enough to your home that you just walk to it? Well, then in that case, the station, instead of costing $100 million here, especially with its very expensive parking garage, we can do that for $500,000 or $1 million. Now, for that one station that costs $100 million, I can build 100 stations, and those stations can be spread out all over the community. I can use the existing roadways, and I can get over there. So I say, hallelujah, we're getting off of oil, because when I keep using solar energy to support this monstrosity of the automobile, I am using too much energy, and I'm using too much materials. I'm using too much space, and especially the space. I drive my car into downtown San Francisco. Nowadays, it doesn't cost you that much to drive there, maybe a couple dollars worth of gasoline. I get to San Francisco, I pay $50 for a parking space.
Yeah.